Yeah, good morning, mate.
Hey, how you going? Davey here from Maximum Volume in
doing,
Australia. I'm awesome.
Good, mate.
URIAH HEEP is touring Australia this March. It's been 4 years since the band last toured here. What can we expect from the upcoming shows, and what will you play in the way of songs from the last 45 years, mate?
Right, good question. Basically, you know, we're a band that's very proud of our history. So, and we're lucky enough to have a lot of songs that have stood the test of time, and people still like hearing the live arena. So we're the core of the, and we're very proud of our history. So,
yeah,
I think what we're going to do, you know, we'll probably end up doing, you know, the July Mornings, the Gypsies, the Easy Livings, the Free Me, the, you know, the Stealing, the Lady in Blacks, and all the classic songs, you
all
know,
the big classics,
as
yeah.
the nucleus of the set. And then we'll intersperse that with some of the tracks off the new album Outsider, you know, probably 4 or 5 tracks.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably go back and revisit some old classic tracks that we haven't played for a long, long while, and some we haven't played probably ever, and bring them into the set list. So, in other words, it will be I think it'll be a musical journey through our 45-year career up to this point.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, as you were saying, the band released the new album, The Outsider, in June last year. Can you tell us a little bit more about the album and how it's different to your other recent albums?
Well, I think it's a straight-ahead rock album, you know, because we were a bit delayed in recording it because our bass player, Trevor Boulder, passed away.
Yeah.
So that was a really shock to us because he was a world-class bass player, world-class singer, world-class musician, world-class friend, you know. So it was just a big shock to us. But we found a replacement in David Rimmer that actually was Trevor gave his blessings to when he was sick, and we just carried on working as Trevor requested. And so we wanted to go in and make an album that just wasn't too airy-fairy, you know? Not too progressive rocky, not too anything, but just a straight-ahead rock album. So that's what it is, and I think it works very well on that level. And so far, it's been received very well by media and critics and fans alike. Yeah. So it's just a straight-ahead rock album, which we love, you know, because that's obviously what your first love is, you know.
Yeah. I mean, after 45 years, I mean, obviously you still got the passion there to make music. I mean, how do you make up new songs that don't sound like the old ones? How do you keep it fresh?
I think one thing is you've got to have your creative antenna out at all times, you know, and capture things when they come into your mind, you know. So, you know, if a riff comes in, you know, I sit down and put it on my iPhone, you know, and collect all the ideas. And then eventually, when I've got some time at home, I'll sit and put them on the computer, the drum machine, and just try and knock them into shape, then present them to the boys, and they either like them or hate them in seconds. Yeah. So I never spend too much time on writing anything with Phil Lansden, our keyboard player. We do most of the writing together. Yeah. We never take them too far, any one song, because, you know, like I say, you can spend 6 months on a song and it's blown out the window in 30 seconds with, you know, resounding no. Yeah. So what we did in this particular album is we went in every day with an idea, with a bunch of ideas, and when the band went, oh, I love that, yeah, that's a great direction, that's a great riff, or we'll do that. Then the band went off and Phil and I sat down and wrote the song. Yeah. And then they'd come back that day, later in the afternoon, and we'd rehearse it up, and we'd get an arrangement, and then all in the same room, we record it, and 1, 2, 3 takes, we had it. Yeah. And then Phil and I would go away and finish off the melody and lyrics and everything else, and then get the next idea for the following day. So we did, I think it was 11 tracks in 10 days.
Wow.
Like that. And that's how quickly we write, you know, because I think you can spend too much time thinking about things. Yeah. You know, at least this way you're thinking on your feet, you know, and your decisions are made passionately from, you know, immediately. Yeah. You know, you're not thinking about this and that and this and that. You know? Yeah. And I think that adds to its freshness. Yep. So in 1986, it's like, you know, like bands that rehearse, you know, they rehearse everything out of themselves. It becomes counterproductive, you know, when you overthink it.
No, exactly. In 1986, obviously, Bernie and Phil joined the band. How do you? I mean, they've obviously been in the band. 86? That's almost 30 years or something. How does that compare to sort of like some of the earlier lineups, so the original lineup in the early 70s when, you really, hit the big time?
Yeah, I think right now we've got a creative energy in the band which is very high, much like in those days, the early days. Because in the early days, we were being pushed ridiculously hard. We're doing 2 albums a year, and and touring every other day. So it was just a nightmare. And that's kind of all. I guess most bands at that time were out doing that, and that's when the wheels start falling off, isn't it?
Exactly. Oh, definitely.
And you overindulge to get through the schedule you've been handed.
Yeah.
But I think on a creative level, I think we're about where we were back then. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So you guys have previously played here in Australia a few times, 1974, 1984 and 2011. In 1974, you released the Australia-New Zealand only Down Under LP, and and on your last tour here in 2000, your Brisbane show was added onto your official bootleg series as Volume 4. So I'm sure all your loyal Aussie fans appreciate the love you give to Australia. Why do you choose Australia for these things?
Well, you know what, great affiliation with Australia. I mean, I lived there for 10 years.
Yeah.
And our keyboard player similarly did, and he's got an Australian lady he's living with,
Okay.
For years now. So we've got a great affiliation. I've got family out there. I've got so many friends there. I mean, honestly, I could get a guest list for any one of the shows we play out there and fill up the Sydney Opera House.
Wow.
It's like that, So we come back and there's so many levels that we love being there. It's a great country. We love the people. We've got great friends. We've got the fans are fantastic. If they really like you, they really show it. And it's an honest appreciation, and we really like that. So there's so many levels. Too many to mention, but they're all good.
Yeah. So do you find, obviously, you've been around 45 years, are you getting a lot of new fans, like younger fans as well, following the band, or is it mostly sort of like the older fans?
What's that, sorry?
Just talking about your fans. Are you finding that you're getting a lot of new younger fans at the show?
Oh, yeah, loads of younger fans. Yes. Unbelievable, especially out in Europe. They're getting younger and younger and younger.
Yeah.
And that's just fantastic. I mean, some people shout out for Gypsy, and it's older than them,
Yeah.
The song's older than they are. But, and that's brilliant, because that just shows you that, good songs do stand the test of time.
Oh, most definitely. So, you
it's
guys...
all about songs, because every fad that comes through, you look at the new wave and you look at the punk thing and all that stuff, the only bands that came through are the ones with great songs.
Yeah.
They're the ones that still get revered within that genre.
Yeah, definitely.
Punk even, the Sex Pistols and Clash, they had great songs.
Oh yeah, they're still, current in this day and age.
But we call it, there's old wave, new wave, and we're permanent wave.
I like that.
I guess it's a way of putting it.
Permanent wave. I'll note that one. So URIAH HEEP has sold over 40 million records worldwide, and it's obviously referred to as one of the big four pioneers of hard rock and heavy metal of the late 60s, early 70s, alongside Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, and Deep Purple. What does this mean for you, like personally?
Well, I think it's brilliant. At that time when all those bands came out, it was just an exciting time in England, especially London, to be in a band, because it was everything was groundbreaking, everything was new, everything we were doing was, we were just all just following our dreams,
Yeah.
And little did we know we were creating sort of rock history that's lasted. But it means a lot to me, to be a part of it, and thank God I was born when I was born, so I could have been a part of it. Because it was such a wonderful creative time, and everybody was trying to find their own individual thing. See, I think the problem with a lot of today's music, if I can go into that, is that they all sound the same, look the same.
Yeah.
Whereas when you look at, say, just take guitarists, for instance, say, I didn't play guitar like Richard Blackmore. Richard didn't play like Tony Iommi. Tony didn't play like Martin Barr. Martin Barr didn't play like Paul Kossoff, and on and on and on,
Yeah.
Everyone looked for their own individual style.
Yeah.
And that went for the bass players, the drummers, and the keyboard players, and everything else, and the singers, Everyone had, and it's the sum of those parts that gave each band their particular flavour.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that's the same then. I think it's like today's music. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. You can take one person out of there and stick them in there, stick that one up there, and you wouldn't know any difference.
Yeah, exactly.
And the same thing with guitar players. I think, guitar players go into guitar schools, and they come out 2 years later, all playing absolutely brilliantly.
Yep.
But you can't tell one from the other. There's no attention to the individual there.
Yeah.
And I think that's a shame, because, if I give advice to anyone, it was to find your own niche.
Oh, definitely.
Find something that's just you.
Yeah, most definitely.
That stands you out from the crowd.
Yeah. One question I forgot to ask, I skipped over before when we were talking about the new album. You're also releasing a new live CD, DVD and Blu-ray in late February titled Live at Koko, London 2014.
Yes.
Obviously the first Blu-ray you've released.
Probably, yeah. I came up with these things, so yeah, probably.
Can you tell us a little bit more about...
I've got a video machine. I mean, you've got a video machine. I could throw it in a computer, laptop, but that's about it.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about the shows that you recorded?
Yeah, it's Blu-ray, and I think it's quite good. It's up with the technology. A lot of people have been asking if it will be on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be delighted that it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a show that we recorded. Funny enough, we just finished the album.
Yeah.
And literally mixed. I don't think it was finished. No, we hadn't mixed it. No, we just finished it. And then 2 days later, we were on stage playing a couple of them live. So it's very fresh and exciting.
Yeah.
I think we played 1 minute and Can't Take That Away from the album.
Yep.
And it's great, I love that immediacy of it, and it was the first time the audience heard it, and it's going to go well when they pick it up immediately,
Yeah.
And one chorus in, they're singing it, which is fantastic.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah, it was a great test for us, but I think it worked very well.
Yeah. I look forward to it.
We had fans there from all over the world, absolutely, totally amazing.
Oh, I'd imagine
they really came to take, literally from Japan and America and parts of Scandinavia and just all over the world.
Yeah. Okay. I did read on the internet somewhere that back in 1987 you guys played 10 nights in a row in Moscow. And that was obviously
the first Western rock band to play in Russia, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Russia was still a scary place to go back then. How did that all come about?
Well, we used to play all the Eastern Bloc countries in Europe because we had a saying in URIAH HEEP, because a lot of bands were playing safe, they were just doing American and mainland Europe. But URIAH HEEP had a saying that, if the people couldn't come to the music, we'll take the music to the people.
Yeah.
So we used to play all these strange places. We used to play East Berlin, and before the wall came down, and Czechoslovakia before it became Czech Republic and Slovakia, and we used to go to all those places because we just felt it was something the band took a major decision to do, because it was never easy to get those places.
Yeah.
It was always very hard, and excuse the pun, red tape and all that, but it really was.
Yeah.
And just to get in behind the iron, behind the Berlin Wall was just an immense effort to get in there with equipment and all sorts.
Yeah. But
we always made the effort, and it always paid off, because you look at the faces of the people in front of you when you were playing. It was just immense, Some totally crying because they never thought they'd ever get to see the band, and all like that. So it was really wonderful.
Yeah.
And that investment paid off in the end, because we had a Hungarian promoter called Laszlo Hegedus.
Yeah.
And he used to promote us, and he used to say, "You don't know how big you are in Russia." And we're going, "Yeah, well, that old tosh."
Yeah.
Because what we're taught in schools about Russia, you never thought we'd ever go there, let alone play music there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so. And he applied every year for about many, many years. To play there. And every time we got an official document back, no. And then in 1987, when Glasnost was formed, the Gorbachev Reagan were in their peace talks, we were sent the official invite by Glasnost to be the first Western rock band to play there.
Wow. So
we thought, wow, that's amazing. So Laszlo Hercules got in touch with us and said, look, I've received this and it's all go, and do you want to do it? And we said, yeah, of course we do.
Yeah.
And then we went over there and we didn't realise how big we were, but it was stupid.
Yeah,
the adulation, it was unbelievable, Because, and then the other thing is they were true rock fans because they could only ever buy their music, their albums, on the black market.
Yep.
No record shops there, so the black market. So they'd save up 2 months' money, and then out of what they had on the black market, and to buy your album was just immense,
Yeah.
You think of that, it's ridiculous. And so, and the other side of that coin is that, they buy your album, lots of them were playing them, and then they got caught and they got imprisoned in Siberia for it.
Yeah, that's scary.
For listening to rock music,
Yeah.
So not only they were saving long and hard for it, they had the chance of being in prison for it if they listened to it. Madness. What a mad world we live in.
Unreal.
But anyway, when we went out there, we met all these people, and they all came with their stories and everything else. It was just absolutely immense,
Yeah.
And it was freezing cold. It's 30 below. We played in the Olympsky Stadium.
Yeah.
In Moscow, and the other thing is they were frightened of people being too close to you or having that many people in one area.
Yeah.
So they had the audience 30 metres away in cage seats.
30 metres, geez.
It's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
And then a row of army people with AKGs and everything in front of them, looking at them, not looking at the stage, looking at them.
Yeah. Unreal.
So then they went absolutely crazy. And every night, me, Trevor Boulder and Bernie went out. And there was about 8 spotlights on us, and we'd run out to the crowd and break through the soldiers and wave at the people and shake hands and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just absolutely pandemonium, unbelievable. And that broke the ice, and gradually the soldiers turned around and watched the show, and that was the icebreaker.
Yeah.
But, they just didn't know how to handle it at all. And it was just quite amazing. It was an amazing experience, I have to say.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Well, that will stay with me forever, And we didn't realise how big we were, and he was right last year. We'd walk into restaurants, and the whole restaurant would get up and applaud us.
Yeah.
No,
definitely.
We'd walk in, and there'd be a string quartet playing July morning and stuff,
Yeah.
It was silly. Everybody went silly. In fact, we took out our own pictures, picture cards. Thousands of them, and they actually became currency.
Oh, okay.
People were using them to get other things, It was absolutely stupid.
Yeah,
but it was fantastic, at the same time.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And you get people standing outside the venue, that didn't have a ticket, but they want you to sign their albums. And the pen's frozen up. They're frozen.
Yeah.
And we used to bring them inside, sign their albums, and then throw them out into the crowd. And it was like all the Christmases come at once.
Yeah. No, definitely a memorable experience for you guys, and obviously the
we did one show. We had the KGB following us around everywhere.
Oh, jeez.
And I could go on for hours, as you can understand, with this because it was so momentous.
Yeah.
But we had one show. We had a sound check, and the KGB used to be around with us everywhere.
Yeah.
And they weren't at the sound check for some reason. So what we did is we got all the bus drivers, paid them rubles to go out and just get as many people they could in their bus and bring them to the venue.
Yeah.
And they filled up the venue with it was the only show we played with the audience down the front of the stage, not in the cages at the back, down the front of the stage, and they filled it up. Just drove around and said, "Do you want to see URIAH HEEP? Get on the bus. You want to see URIAH HEEP? Get on the bus." And brought them in, all the buses. There was hundreds of buses, and they just filled up the place. And we did a set that night with a full set, but in front of a sound check audience, if you like. So it was our sound check.
Yeah.
The crowd went mad. Then they all went away, and then the normal crowd came in again.
Unreal.
But they couldn't police it, which was fantastic. So they got a free concert, and it was a momentous thing to do. You should have seen the people's faces. It was just
definitely.
Yeah.
Up to the
your heart good.
Yeah, I'm sure you could talk about it all night. I'm pretty sure I hit the nail on the head with mentioning the Russia thing.
Yes.
Last question, probably a question you do get asked quite a lot. The name of the band obviously comes from a fictional character created by Charles Dickens from his novel David Copperfield. Why did you choose that as a name?
Well, actually, we went into the studio as a 4-piece called Spice.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm afraid with the Spice Boys with all the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
But never mind. And the reason we called ourselves Spice is because we didn't want our music to be any one direction. We wanted it to include a bit of jazz, a bit of blues, a bit of rock, a bit of everything, you know.
Different flavours.
And as you know, spices, there's many spices, so
yeah.
It was the perfect name for what we were thinking at the time.
Yeah.
But then we went into, as a 4-piece, started recording the album, very, very, very humble, and we decided that when we were hearing our tracks back, our songs back, that they would benefit from a keyboard player.
Yeah.
So we got, I went to Jerry Bonner at the time, had an old school teacher friend called Colin Wood that he brought in to play a few keyboard parts.
Yeah.
And when we started hearing that back, we were saying, yeah, that's exactly the way we want to go. But by then, I was a big fan of Vanilla Fudge.
Yeah.
And the Hammond organ.
Yeah.
And I said the Hammond organ is the instrument for us because it can be very aggressive, very powerful, but it can also be very gentle and very tender.
Yeah.
And it covers everything we were looking at, with our music.
Yeah.
So we were thinking who can be, who the good organ players. And Paul Newton, our bass player, used to play with Ken Hensley in a band called The Gods, and he was the organ player.
Yeah.
And he had the sort of power that we were looking for. So we approached him, he came down, and he started adding some keyboard parts to what we'd done, and it was perfect. So he joined the band. So we thought with the musical template of what the band was about changing, and the person, we should give it a new name.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be the 100th birthday of Charles Dickens, and in London, there were book clubs. It was on posters all over the place. There were based on buses and all sorts, and it was on the TV. There was movies and everything. And our manager took his 2 sons to see David Copperfield in the theatre, in the cinema.
Yeah.
And we saw the character. And at that time, we had a list in the studio with all sort of, hippie names on, corrugated dandruff and all sorts of stupid names, right? And then he came back and suggested that, and we said, well, look, what a great name, because it was, it'll look good in print, it looks striking, and what a great thing to take such a literary giant as, Charles Dickens, one of his characters, around the world with us. So, yeah, it just got taken on, and that was it, really.
Oh, very, 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 very different.
Yes, and it looked good in print because at the time there was lots of bands out like Black Sabbath, Black Widow, and Deep Purple did all B, C, Ds and whatever, but never it looked quite unique. So
yeah, no, definitely.
That's how we looked at it. And the unfortunate thing with that was we in America, one of our first publicity things to do was we had these green gold leaf books of David Copperfield, and in every time URIAH HEEP was was mentioned in the book, we used to underline it.
Yeah.
We had it all underlined, just the name URIAH HEEP. It was sent out to all the DJs in America, and they received this lovely book, just URIAH HEEP, and of course, and then the following week our album came with all the blurb and the publicity, and it made sense, but it made an impact on a lot of people.
Oh, definitely.
The downside of that is some poor girl in the office had hundreds of books that she had to go through each page and underline.
Oh, I hope she was getting paid well.
She definitely had white line fever, I'm telling you.
No worries,
but it worked very well. It made an impression on people. What a great book, and the Americans loving all the English stuff, It worked well for us.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for talking to us today. Mick, we really look forward to
my friend. Lovely. Thanks for your
tour,
support.
and I've now got a new genre of music to talk about, permanent wave. So, as you mentioned before.
Okay, mate.
Thank you.
Cool.
See you in Australia in March.
All right, mate. Thanks a million. Hopefully we see you out there, yeah?
Most definitely.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Happy days. Thanks for your help too.